Hi everybody, my name's Jamie, and in this video I'm going to cover everything that we now know about Assassin's Creed Valhalla since my last video. I'll leave a link in the description to that one, but the gist of it was just everything that we knew prior to the Inside Xbox gameplay trailer. First, I think I need to say what everyone's thinking about regarding that Inside Xbox gameplay trailer. It was crap. I don't mean that the gameplay was rubbish. I just think that we were led to believe that a significant amount of gameplay would be shown, and that just wasn't the case. I was expecting a 10 or so minute gameplay walkthrough showing off some of the aspects of the new settlement system and definitely some combat encounters. What we got was just a trailer made of in-engine footage, and while that's technically gameplay, it's not what I and what I think a lot of you were expecting. Regardless of how we all feel about the trailer, no one can deny that it looks good. That's because the game was running on an Xbox Series X, or so we're supposed to think. Sometimes these trailers are made up of PC footage, but I think that Microsoft's next-gen console is powerful enough to make the game look this good, so I believe it. Off the back of the trailer, we finally got confirmation that AC Valhalla is coming to both next-gen consoles. I may have missed the announcement somewhere in there, but Ubisoft confirmed it for PS5 and Xbox Series X at the point of this trailer's release, so that was the first time that I was hearing it anyway. At the time of putting this script together for the video, I've already pre-ordered the collector's edition of the game for PS4. I always buy the collector's editions of the games in this franchise because it's one that I've loved since it began. The reason I've gone for PS4 is because there was no PS5 or Xbox Series X version at the time of making that pre-order. I'll be a little bit disappointed if I have to buy two versions of the game just so I can play it on either PS5 or Xbox Series X as well. I think there's a possibility that Ubisoft will use Microsoft's smart delivery feature, so that might be a good option for Xbox One owners in any case. If you don't know what smart delivery is, it's basically a promise from game developers and Microsoft. If you buy a game for Xbox One that has smart delivery for Xbox Series X, you'll get the next-gen version for free as soon as the developers make it available. With that, I think we've covered everything from the time of this gameplay trailer reveal. Ashraf Ismail took to Twitter pretty soon after to explain that Ubisoft has a longer marketing plan for the game and that there's loads more for us to see in the future. This is encouraging because it just feels like they're stretching everything out a little bit. Moving on, there has actually been some other news outside of the gameplay trailer. The first bit is more official since it's basically someone's job, and that's no secret. Jesper Kyd, the composer for Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood and Revelations, is coming back to compose the soundtrack for AC Valhalla. Not only that, but he's joined by two other soundtrack superstars. First, and I apologise in advance for butchering these names, we have Sarah Satna, who worked as composer for AC Origins. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed the soundtrack of that game, so I'm excited that she's involved with this one as well. We also have Einar Selvik working on the soundtrack for AC Valhalla. He actually worked on the TV show Vikings, which I can only imagine is the most appropriate piece of portfolio evidence to have when applying for any sort of job on this particular game. Okay, so far this has all been pretty tame stuff, right? Well, I've been putting the video script together over the course of a week, and more news has come out. And this next bit is something I'm really excited about. Eurogamer picked up on a German store listing for AC Valhalla that mentioned some of the Season Pass content. There in black and white it says that we will get to discover the cruel truth behind the legend that is Beowulf. If you didn't know, because I didn't, Beowulf is a character from an Old English poem. This poem is apparently more than 3,000 lines long, and no, I haven't read it. Essentially it follows Beowulf, a monster hunter, killing a monster at the start. However, he is later killed by a dragon he initially sets out to kill himself. Make of that what you will. All we know right now is that we will be able to jump into a mission that goes into the Beowulf storyline. Whether this becomes part of a series of DLC, like the ones we saw for AC Odyssey, I have no idea. What I will say is that Ubisoft likes to iterate on what they make. With AC Origins, we fought gods. In AC Odyssey, we met them. So in AC Valhalla, maybe we'll become them? I only mean in the sense that Eivor will become the one killing the monster, but Beowulf will take the credit, or something along those lines. In addition to this Beowulf stuff, the German store listing also mentions a quest called Way of the Berserker. Unlike the Beowulf mission, this is just a pre-order bonus. Usually pre-order bonus missions are something that you can encounter in the world of an AC game, so I doubt there'll be anything too exciting. Still, if you're like me and you want to experience every bit of AC Valhalla, pre-ordering the game is the way to do it. Another small bit of news we've had over the last week is about AC Valhalla's frame rate. I believe this was mentioned in some sort of Xbox event, but I'm not 100% sure which one. I picked up the information from IGN though, who reported that AC Valhalla will target a minimum of 30 FPS. Now, I'm not a frame rate snob, so 30 FPS at all times sounds great to me, but I know a lot of people out there will want 60 FPS or even the fabled 120 FPS that the Xbox Series X is capable of. I'll get into frame rates and the technical specifications video in the future, but I'm positive that Ubisoft will push the game as far as they can with the technology they have available to them right now. I'm also sure that they'll release updates in the future that will push the game further as they figure out how to do that. Now we're moving on to Ashraf Ishmael's Twitter for some news. He posted a piece of concept artwork for the settlement we'll be building in AC Valhalla. The text with the post says, "Here's your home in England. Spend a lazy Sunday fishing at the docks, consult with your war chief, or check on your people. Home is where the heart is." So what we can see here is that fishing is going to be a pastime in the game. As if there wasn't enough in AC games to do already, now we'll probably have a big old list of fish to collect as well, much like in the other AC game, if you know what I mean. I also like the mention of chatting to your war chief here. I think that a big part of AC Valhalla's settlement is going to be checking in with everyone who lives there. In this way, I think we will get more missions, build relationships, and maybe even open up opportunities that we'd miss if we just ignored everyone. I often find that it's the quiet moments in games that have the greatest impact. Maybe that's what they're going for with AC Valhalla. Sticking with Twitter for a minute, we also got some news about Eivor's Eyes in the Sky from Access the Animus. Since AC Origins, players have had an eagle to scout out areas with, identifying targets and loot and generally providing a better perspective. In AC Valhalla, we're going to have Su-In, a trained raven. You might think this is a bit unrealistic, but I lived with a foster brother who picked up a wounded raven and trained it for a couple of years. It was called Bobbin, and now it does shows with the travelling birdman. Su-In means insight in Old Norse, which is why the name was chosen, I imagine. There aren't many details about how this raven will work, but I'm pretty sure it'll be exactly like the birds of the last two AC games. Access the Animus also reported in the same tweet that AC Valhalla will include a feigned death ability and a version of the transmog feature from AC Odyssey. Transmog was a big thing in the community, allowing you to keep the stats from your armor but overwrite the appearance. If it's in AC Valhalla from day one, it'll be all the more magical. As for feigning death, I think this would be very useful on the battlefield. I don't see why it wouldn't be in the game, considering that we'll be actively taking part in battles against armies, so it should be fun to mess around with. Finally, Kotaku reported that the hidden blade we've seen in trailers is going to be a one-hit kill weapon. This is a callback to the old AC games, in which the hidden blade was always a one-hit kill. In AC Odyssey we never got to use a hidden blade, and in Origins it didn't always kill an enemy. This meant that a stealth approach couldn't always go as smoothly as you wanted it to be, because you didn't have that one-hit kill like you did in previous AC games. Apparently this reverting back to the hidden blade is for AC hardcore fans. Ubisoft wants to bring the series back to its roots, but also keep the momentum of where the games have been going over the last couple of releases. This should mean that AC Valhalla can be a stealth game at times, but also that brutal, blood-soaked historical action game that we've come to expect from the series. I always loved sneaking around with the hidden blades, taking enemies down one by one, and planning the next kill really slowly. You can still do this in later games, but it just isn't as satisfying without the iconic assassin weapon. Hopefully this makes AC Valhalla feel much more like an AC games. And that, finally, is everything. I'm sorry that I didn't get this video out last week. It was my birthday the Sunday before the Monday, on May 10th, which is when I usually record, so I took my time putting this one together and gathered all the bits of news that I could. I should be back on track from this week moving forward, as long as there's no more news and everything gets messed up again. But what I'm going to do is dive into different aspects of what we should be seeing in AC Valhalla, ones that we know of and are confirmed, and then I'll cover news probably in more roundups like this. So look out for those videos in the future. If you like what I've been doing, please let me know in the comments. And since there's nothing else to talk about, I'll see you next week.